This is Lee from the Law School Toolbox and the Bar Exam Toolbox.
Welcome back. Today we are welcoming Jennifer Berry, a member of the Law School Toolbox and Bar Exam Toolbox team, who is sharing some insights from her time as a bar exam grader.
With common errors, the biggest thing is like not following the call of the question closely, not reading it carefully, because sometimes there's hitting calls within a 3-part question, and you have to like read the actual paragraph in the essay to actually understand what the call of the question means. And so if you don't slow down and carefully examine what the call is asking you, you might end up down the wrong path. And then again, you're robbing yourself of valuable points because the graders cannot give you points. I keep saying I'm not a grader. So
that's okay. Yeah, you couldn't work for us and also be a bar grader. So
I could not be doing this right now.
Right.
But as a grader, they cannot, I could not, and they currently cannot give you points for something that's not called for. Even if what you said was perfectly right, if you misunderstood the question, that can be a problem too. And it's almost like a little bit, at least for me, because I'm sort of a pathetic person. It's like very heartbreaking for me as I read this. I'm like, oh, you know what you're talking about? It's just wrong. So that's a big one. I don't think that this is necessarily a score killer, but it again goes back to making your grader's job easier. And this is also just following the logical order of the question, especially if they give you 3 calls or like 2 calls and one has 2 subheadings or 2 subcalls. Don't answer them in a random order. You should answer them in the order that it's provided to you because your grader's expecting that. And it will get confusing to your grader if you randomly start talking about question 1 in the middle of where question 3 should be or something. So,
right. Or if you're in trust and estates and they give you, like 5 people in a list, like typically they want those 5 people in that list.
Yeah.
Right?
In the order they presented it to you, or in logical date order, things like that, because otherwise, again, your grader's having to do a lot of to try to find what you're saying, and that may or may not hurt your score, because there's also an overall, feeling score too. So if you get to the end of a question, and for me, if I got to the end and I looked at my grade points and I said, well, this is 55, but this question definitely was minimum of 60. And I'm going to give them a 60 because my gut says this was a 60. But you might not get that if you start hiding the ball, since they would say about a sports person. So that was a lot of the question sort of focused ones, and then the biggest thing I think that it's hard for students and examinees to accept is if they tell you something is valid. Oh my gosh, it's valid.
It's true. That contract is valid. It is just valid.
Don't spend any time analyzing whether the contract is valid. They told you it was valid. You just wasted precious time. Yeah. And, you'll see so many where it literally said this was, they entered into a valid fee arrangement. And then there would be a page of an analysis of whether it was a valid fee arrangement. Well, you don't have any information about it. So other than it's valid. So you're making things up, and you just wasted all of that time that you didn't, because you had in your mind, in a fee arrangement in this question, I have to talk about this. But that they told you that, but you wouldn't talk about it. So,
yeah. Oh my gosh, it comes up all the time. The one that would always get me was on a performance test when they would say, don't include a statement of facts. And then students would include a statement of facts.
Every time.
And I'm like, they literally said, don't.
I told you not to do it. Why are you doing it?
One, I told you not to do it, so you couldn't follow the directions. And 2, you wasted so much time, and there's no time to be wasted. Yeah. So you have to believe them. Like the bar is not trying to trick you with the question.
I think that's part of it. There are some tricky questions. Sure. There are ones
of course.
Where, if you didn't catch this nuance in the fact, you won't get the actual analysis fully correct. But they're never trying to trick you in that way of saying like, it's valid. And then they want you to talk about it. That's just not something they do in the process,
No.
just, yeah, I think that the thing to take on the performance test too, to your point of is that part of it is to see, are you going to be a good lawyer, right? Do you know how to follow the directions that somebody gave you? Because that's part of this whole process, right? If you do something that is not what they told you to do, then it does indicate that maybe you're not quite there yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I tell you, if a judge tells you not to include something, like, don't include
You
it.
better not include it. Yeah.
Like, that's not going to go well. So you mentioned that people will write like messages in their answers and say that they're running out of time or that they're having a bad day. Like, did anyone write anything to make you laugh? Like, were you feeling bad? It never really occurred to me that people are writing messages to the graders in their essays. I definitely did not do that on my bar.
Yeah, no. So there always would be a handful of essays that had something funny in it. Either funny because something that the student said in their statements was just kind of off the wall, or funny because they were intentionally trying to make a joke. So there was always that kind of thing here and there. And then we did see things like, I'm running out of time or ran out of time. Typically the bar would cover up, they would like white them out or block them out most of the time, especially like, I think I had commented to you at one point there during one of the examinations that I did. I can't remember what year it was, but there were people who wrote like earthquake in their essay, and the bar went through and deleted that anywhere that it appeared. And if it did appear, we were not supposed to pay any attention to. We were supposed to in there. That sort of thing shouldn't affect your grade at all. But I do think that if you made me laugh intentionally, certainly that like gut at the end might have been, leaning slightly more towards.
Right. If it was a tie, then at least you like you got a little bonus.
Yeah, kind of funny. Yeah. And I did enjoy it. I know when I took the bar, I did not do this, but I know a couple of people that I forget what word it was that they wanted to work into every essay, but they worked a particular word or phrase into every single essay. It's such a weird thing to do on this like exam. It's our entire life. Okay, have fun. But people do that kind of stuff, and I guess whatever it takes to like make this not a horrible experience.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
But and I would write down the funny ones and take them back to our grade, our third meeting to be like, hey guys, want to hear this?
Gotta have something to entertain you when you're reading the same.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing over and over.
Yeah, exactly. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave a comment. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form at lawschooltoolbox.com. Thanks for watching.